So, good evening, and thank you for being here on a day when everybody said that it's impossible to travel in London. London is paralyzed, and we never knew that we had so many cars. So, all these cars have appeared on the roads of London, which we never thought existed. So, these unexisted cars and unprecedented roadblocks, and you still are here. So, my deepest gratitude to you. So we are still waiting for some guests, some VIP guests, and unfortunately, quite a few people are facing trouble in arriving here. But amongst us, we have the High Commissioner for Pakistan, who needs to leave slightly earlier than he had originally planned. So what we have done is we will start the event without waiting for anybody. It's our honor to welcome you, His Excellency, to this building, the Aga Khan Center. A man who doesn't require any introduction, Dr. Shoaib Sultan Khan. I mean, Mr. Shoaib Sultan Khan. I'm sure you have multiple honorary doctorates, but I would call you Shoaib Sahab, the man in the hat, and today your hat is missing.
The granddaughter has it.
Oh, the granddaughter has it. And that's where I also welcome his 3 daughters and grandchildren and all the family members and great-grandchildren. So welcome to all of you. Dr. Farooq Beg, the producer of the movie that will be premiered today, is here. So, Assalamu alaikum, namaste, good evening. My name is Hussain Jassani, and I head the South Asian Studies Unit at the Institute of Ismaili Studies. The IIS and the Aga Khan Foundation are pleased to host this event at the Aga Khan Center. And the Aga Khan Foundation CEO, Dr. Matt Reed, is here, and I'm speaking and welcoming on behalf of both of us. You are in an award-winning building, which was opened by His Highness Aga Khan IV in June 2018. He was accompanied by then Prince Charles, now King Charles. So it's a beautiful building. If you've not seen it, do book a tour and come. Today we have a long event, so we may not have the opportunity to show you the building, but we are here and we would be very happy to show you the building the next time you are in the building. Before I continue, a bit of housekeeping. I've been warned that I need to start with this, so I better comply, otherwise Mafe will kick me out of this room. So first, a request to turn off your phones or keep them in silent mode, now to ensure that we have no distraction during the film screening and the discussions. So please turn off your phones or keep them in silent mode. Also, we do not have any planned fire alarms this evening, so should you hear one, the exits are through these doors behind me and down the stairs in the atrium to the front of the building. Please note, and you must have seen the cameraman everywhere, please note that filming and photography are taking place at this event this evening. If you do not want to be photographed or videoed, please identify yourselves to the camera crew and photographers. The evening is dedicated to Shoaib Sahab. Many of us will be talking about Mr. Shoaib Sultan Khan, who obviously requires no introduction. We admire not only your achievements, sir, but also your humility, your simplicity, and the sincerity that shines through, just like the iconic hat that has become a symbol of your personality. So thank you for being here and taking the time to be with us to celebrate your own work and your own life. May you continue to inspire all, and may your legacy guide generations to come. We are here to attend the premiere of a biopic on his life, so I'll let the movie do the talking. However, before proceeding further, I would like to say his contribution to the world can only be understood by the fact that unlike other biopics and biographies or autobiographies, which would include the name of the person, he gets described either literally, man in the hat, or metaphorically, a drop that made the ocean. There is no other way of describing Shoaib Saab. It's just impossible, and his name doesn't do the justice. So either gets literally described, your biography is called The Man in the Hat, and of course, the biopic that we are going to watch is called A Drop That Made the Ocean. We are here to honor that drop literally made the ocean, or I would say multiple oceans. Khushamadid, welcome, and thank you for being here. I welcome and thank everyone present in the room for daring to get out of your house when the London traffic system is completely paralyzed and roads are crowded with cars that we didn't know existed. So thank you for being here. Now that we're talking about challenges facing the event and this rainy, paralyzed day, TFL strike, let me talk about one more challenge. I received a call from Dr. Farooq Beg literally about a week ago. And what I hear, and where is Farooq, by the way? Oh, there you go. No, I want them to know that I'm not lying. So you need to be in the room when I'm quoting you. So Dr. Farooq Beg called me and said, Hussain bhai, office mein chori ho gayi. Literally, my office has been burgled. I offered my sympathy, and then came the bombshell. Chor movie wali hard disk bhi le gaye. The thieves have taken away the hard disk that had the movie on it. I gasped. This was happening a few days before the event is scheduled, and Matt didn't know this. I said, Farooq, if I call Dr. Matt Reed and inform him we want to cancel the premiere, he will ensure that my access to the AKC is taken away. Obviously, I was joking. Matt, you would not do that to me, would you? Jokes apart, I was shocked listening to Farooq's last statement. However, Farooq's next sentence was reassuring. He said, Fikr na kare, don't worry. We have the raw data and we'll put the movie together once again. So, welcome to the premiere of the second edition of A Drop That Made the Ocean. So this is literally the second edition. And he tells me that for 8 nights, his son Daniel, who is behind with the video camera, and him have not slept. And a person who is the backbone for 2 of them, who is not here, unfortunately, is Huma Beg. Many of you know her, and you've nodded your heads. Yes, she was once a PTV anchor, but whose life has greatly influenced by Shoaib Sahab and your work. And she sent a video message that we'll play at some point during the proceedings. But I want to thank both of you. Obviously, we need to move forward. Let's continue. However, Farooq's next sentence, sorry, I'm one paragraph behind. So welcome to the premiere of the second edition of A Drop That Made the Ocean. Anyway, I'm happy that you all are here. I would like to mention a few individuals before ending this welcome note. Of course, Matt deserves the mention, but Matt will have his opportunity to come to the microphone. To start with, I would acknowledge Professor Zen Kasum, the director of the IIS, whose constant support and guidance enable us to organize such event at the Aga Khan Center. The other person that I would like to thank is Selina Kasam Ramji, a colleague, a friend, whom I walk into her office with problems, with tears in my eyes, and when I'm coming out, I always have a smile on my face. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being that support. Thanks a lot. One bad news, Professor Zen Kasum, who was supposed to do the opening remarks, could not be here because of some challenges. She had to travel for some urgent work, but she has kindly sent her message, a brief opening remarks that I'm going to read on her behalf. Opening remarks on behalf of Zen Kasum, Director IIS, September 11th, 2025, Aga Khan Center. His Excellency, Dr. Faisal, Shoaib Sahab, whom we have gathered to honor today. Dr. Beg, the producer of the film that will be premiered today, and the co-producer, his wife, Huma Beg, who unfortunately couldn't travel. Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to everyone in the room. My apologies for not being here due to my travel schedule. I should have dropped that paragraph. I want to convey my thanks to Hussein Jassani, head of our South Asian Studies unit, for reading out this brief message on my behalf. It gives me immense pleasure to honor a truly remarkable personality, Mr. Shoaib Sultan Khan, whom we all know with the great affection as Man in the Hat. Sir, your life has an inspiration for countless people, not just in Pakistan, but across South Asia and beyond. Though your pioneering work with the Aga Khan Rural Support Program and later the Rural Support Program networks, you gave hope through this work. You gave hope, voice, and power to millions living in villages in rural areas. You taught us that real development is not about charity, but about enabling communities to take charge of their own destiny. By organizing people, by trusting their potential, you showed how poverty can be reduced and dignity restored. You gave a voice to many women through your strategies of empowering them have the voice today. Your vision has created a model that is studied and replicated around the world. And your tireless commitment to the poorest of the poor has become a guiding light for development practitioners everywhere around the world. Today, in your presence, we express our deepest gratitude for your lifelong service and your unwavering dedication to humanity. It is our honor to welcome you and your family this evening to the Aga Khan Center. Thank you. That was the message from Professor Zen Kasum. And those who had access to the schedule, there is a slight change in the schedule. As I said, His Excellency has informed us that he may need to leave early for some urgent meeting. And thus, we request His Excellency Dr. Faisal to come and say a few words. Your Excellency, please.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Honorable Dr. Shoaib Sultan Khan Sahib, Shandana Khan Sahiba, Jasani Sahib, my predecessor and senior Muazzam Sahib and Madam Leena. It is a profound honor to stand before you today to celebrate a life that has illuminated the darkest corners of poverty and despair. A man with a deep humility and devotion to public service, a pioneer of rural development in Pakistan, and quite a force behind a transformation that has rippled across South Asia and beyond, the Honorable Dr. Shoaib Sultan Khan Sahib. Dr. Khan's story begins with a choice that defies convention. As a young civil service officer on a promising path, he stepped away from the corridors of power. Instead, he sought wisdom from the legendary Akhtar Hamid Khan Sahib, learning a powerful truth that democratic village institutions could empower the rural poor to become the architects of their own destiny. I share a special bond with the Aga Khan centers, not just in London, where in the center I visited at good and bad times, happy and sad times, but also way back in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, 30 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, rural development is of paramount importance to Pakistan's overall progress and stability. As a significant majority of the population resides in villages and is directly dependent on agriculture and allied sectors, it is a critical pathway towards alleviating widespread poverty, enhancing food security, and reducing the stark economic disparities between urban and rural areas. Rural development not only boosts productivity and national GDP, but also addresses root causes of social unrest and migration to overcrowded cities, fostering a more equitable, prosperous, and sustainable future for the entire nation. I'm sure this film is more than just a biography. It is a tribute to a man whose work has uplifted a large number of the world's poorest. So, Shoaib Sahib, in your humility, you may say you have done nothing special, but you are the drop that made the ocean, a single steadfast force that swelled into a sea of hope dignity, and self-reliance. Ladies and gentlemen, lastly, as you all know, Pakistan is again facing a climate catastrophe in the form of floods, which has taken a huge toll in the form of loss of precious lives, livestock, crops, and sizable migration. In this time of hardship, I'm sure your organization and others are actively helping the community. I would urge the Pakistani diaspora here to contribute in whatever way they can to help the affectees. I thank you all. Pakistan Zindabad. I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for those remarks. And I would appeal to non-Pakistani diaspora and the British people to support the work. I think we all need to do the best we can. And today's evening is the celebration of that spirit of charity and giving. And I invite everyone in the room to come forward and support the cause that His Excellency has so beautifully articulated. Thank you very much for being here today. I'll not get another opportunity to thank you, so I'm taking this opportunity to thank you and your entire team. And of course, my gratitude for hosting Shandana and me yesterday in your beautiful office and for guiding us on various aspects. Thank you. We can now move on to the movie premiere, and I take this opportunity to play the movie. I have watched it, one of the lucky ones who has managed to watch this before everybody else. Very captivating, I must say. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did.
Thank you for a beautiful film, touching. I think it's everyone here. Somebody told me we needed tissues because there wouldn't be a dry eye in the house, and I think that's absolutely true. I'm Matt Reed. I'm the CEO of the Aga Khan Foundation here in the UK, and it's an enormous privilege to be here with Shoaib Saab. We've never met before, but you've impacted my life in an incredible way, because just like so many people here, you've given us the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives and to make our lives more fulfilling by doing that. And so I hope that you know that you have so many followers here around the world. I just came back from Syria. We have a whole team there inspired by the example that you've given us today and throughout all of your life about how to help people find belief in themselves. And so I want to thank you on my personal behalf and on behalf of everyone here for all that you've done. Thanks so much. And we would... And it's such a pleasure now to invite you to say a few words to all of us. Thank you.
आप लोगों ने तो इतनी तारीफ की है मैं कि मैं बेज़बान हो गया हूँ क्या क्या कहूँ मैं क्या इसका जवाब सिर्फ काश ये जो कुछ आपने कहा वो सही होता ये जो कुछ मैंने किया या जो कुछ हुआ वो असल में तो आप तमाम के काबिश है आप सब ने मुझे इतना सपोर्ट किया और इसका नतीजा ये हुआ कि मेरी हिम्मत बढ़ी जितना भी हो सकता था मुझसे वो मैंने किया.
But just to translate for you, Daddy was just saying he's just so overwhelmed by your love for him that it's rendered him speechless, and that the reason that he is where he is today is because of all of you and because of the communities. So I'll read out your speech. This was for His Excellency, dear Mohammed Faisal, Pakistan High Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for being here today. I am honored, and I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Matt Reed, CEO, Al Khan Foundation UK, and Mr. Hussain Jassani at the Institute of Ismaili Studies for hosting the event. I would also like to thank Shandana Khan, CEO, RSPN, for her participation in today's arrangements. I am personally grateful to the creators of this film, Farooq and Huma Beg, for their dedication and perseverance in capturing the essence of my journey in the RSPs and how it has been shaped and influenced by one of my greatest patrons, His Highness Prince Aga Khan Karim IV, who left this world on 4th February this year. Today, the 8 RSPs that are members of the RSP network have taken this approach to over 58 million households across Pakistan and in the rest of South Asia, mainly India, where millions of women's lives have been changed. Many of their CEOs have been part of this long journey with taking the RSP movement to new heights. None of this would have been possible without the dedication and trust of the communities. I will remain eternally grateful to all of them. If it had not been for the patronage of His Highness, I would not be sitting here before you today. His passing away has ended a long chapter in my life, a chapter spanning over 4 decades of work with rural communities, all grown out of the AKRSP experience. His patronage of my work changed my life forever. I was most grieved to hear the news of his passing. May Allah bless him and give strength to his family, his community, and to all of us who owe him a great debt. It was in 1982, when AKRSP was set up, that I met His Highness in Islamabad to brief him on the program. AKF was present in full force. He listened patiently and at the end said that in geopolitical terms, the northern areas is highly sensitive and islands of prosperity will not survive. He wished every household in the area, irrespective of sect, to benefit from AKRSP. He told me that AKRSP was his program, and if I ever had any problem, I should go directly to him. This was indeed a surprise to the others present. This is what gave me assurance and confidence. What more could I want? Here I had a benefactor who gave me the freedom and the resources to implement a program as I wanted. The key message I had conveyed was that if we want to help communities, this cannot be done individually, and they must organize. This is what we called social mobilization. How does one express gratitude to someone who has enabled all this to happen? I can only say how fortunate I have been to have had a patron like His Highness. He was always very kind, very generous. His humility was amazing, and he had time for everyone. I have been fortunate to have known His Highness. I have been blessed with something very rare. What more could I have asked for? His leaving this world is a big loss for me. I wish His Highness Prince Rahim Aga Khan all the best. May he continue with the legacy of his incredible father.
Great. So what will now follow is we wanted to have a conversation with Dr. Farooq Beg on the movie, but we also wanted to understand from Shandana how, this Shoaib Saab's work is continuing. And now that we have Rashid Bajwa with us, we would want to understand it from both of them who are continuing this work. I must acknowledge that there are multiple individuals in this room who are occupying a very senior position in the network. I'll be acknowledging them as we kind of progress further. But to start with, we have the CEO Jamiluddin with us, and we also have a few other people that we can name later on. But let's start with the conversation. And Matt, do you want to take a lead, ask a question? But to start with, thank you very much for those kind words for His Highness and for remembering him. We all miss him badly. Yes, we are under the new leadership of His Highness Rahim Aga Khan. And we hope that the foundation that he laid, with the help of people like you, will be built on, and we will continue building on that amazing work that has started under your leadership and his leadership, and currently being led by the young CEOs of the Rural Support Program or the Aga Khan Foundation or various rural support networks that you people are leading. So good to have three giants of these, literally the institutions that have kind of, I would say, transformed societies around the world. So thank you very much for joining us. And let's start with Matt. Do you have some questions for Farooq?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, tell us, can you start by telling us a little bit about the birth of the film? How did it come about? What inspired you to do it? Tell us a little bit about the way that you worked together clearly for many years to do
Well,
it.
my other half, actually, who started it off, is not here. So
Shall we play the video first?
That's important, yes.
Yeah, okay. So I said there is a 2-minute video that Huma Beg has shared with us. She could not be here for the usual, very common reason for the Pakistanis not to travel to the UK. Her visa was not processed in time, sadly.
Thank you so much. It's great to be with you digitally. And I must say that I'm one of those who is a witness to such a great canvas that is the life of Shoaib Sultan Khan. And when you try to capture that, and over these years, it has really been very much a personal journey. And it has been a crash course of not just how to develop a country, but how to develop its people, because it's the people who make a country. And you realize that there are all these huge problems in the world that cannot be solved because it has taken decades and decades within our own lifetime of seeing the world supposedly at it, and yet those problems remain. But on this journey of filming this film, I realized, for me personally, that the problems are solvable. People have solved them. And when you organize people, just the enormous power that is created overcomes all the challenges. And you start to have hope. So witnessing this in action in my own life changed the way of what I wanted to do in my own life and how I wanted to approach things. And so much of the greatness of the life of Shoaib Sultan Khan is within all of the witnesses who saw that, including me. And not only has this been a tremendous joy, but it has been, I must say that I am honored to have seen this, to believe in it, and really truly hope that we can take the lessons of this great life and apply it so that this change that happened can even happen at a larger scale.
Okay, so what was your question again?
Oh, look at that.
Short memory, you know, is hitting us.
Well, it was just to give us a sense of how did the film come
How
about?
we work together. And,
Yes, exactly.
No, how did the film come about?
Well,
Yeah,
how
well,
did,
that's
how did the
exactly
two
what
of you
led to
work
the-
together? What made you decide to collaborate, do the film, etc.?
Yes.
Technical skills.
That just shows that I'm not a technical person. I'm the director. Let me begin with something which, when through this film when I was doing, which sourced me, ke, how do I see this man who I have been shadowing for the last 20 years, you know. People generally ask, you know, why did it take 20 years to do it, you know, really? Well, I will tell you why, you know, because he is not an easy man to get. So, when I was thinking, you know, there is a very nice verse from Allama Iqbal, you know, which I will recite and then translate it to you also, okay? कि खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना, you know, raise your esteem to such an extent कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे कि that after, before any destiny, you know, God would ask the man, what's the secret of your success? बता तेरी रज़ा क्या है? And what does Shoaib Saab say? Harnessing people's potential. So, when I first met Shoaib Saab, Huma was filming him. I only saw his rushes and things like that, and I said, who's this gentleman? Funny enough, I had already met Akhtar Amir Khan much before I met him, you know, really. So I knew a little bit, you know. But as I got to know him, first of all, when I first met him and all that, he said, "Ke, Acha, you're a beg." He said, my nana was also a beg, you know, really. So the bonding started straight away, you know. And then because I was from Lucknow, he had the same sense of sarcasm as I had, you know, really. So over 20 years, Shoaib Saab always used to say to me, "Ke, kab khatam hogi bhai? When is this film going to finish, you know? If you don't do this, I'll tell Chandana and she'll take all the money back, you know, really." Anyway, so I used to tell Shoaib Saab ke, paise ki kabhi hame kami nahi hui. Money has never been the issue, you know. Now, one of the other things about Shoaib Saab was, you know, that it was difficult to catch him, you know, in the sense, because he would give us things in bits and bobs, you know, really. One example, when I had completely finished the film, almost edited it, you know, it was all, I mean, it was swirling in my mind. My first cut was actually 4 hours, you know. And I thought, well, who's going to sit for 4 hours and watch the film, you know? I cut it down to 3 hours. Again, we said, you know, this thing. And Chandana was after me, you know, cut it, you know, even though she didn't have much to do with that. So anyway, I brought it down to 1 hour, 17 minutes and all that. And she still sat at the back, sitting there. I'm going to see whether people are sitting there or not, you know, really, you know. And at the last premiere that we had in Lahore, not a soul moved, you know, because I was worried there was a lot of retired people, you know, who were there, that certainly they're going to go out in that 1.5 hours, you know, they'll be going. Not a single one went. And the first thing she said to me, no, it's not long, don't worry, you know. So that was good. But Shoaib Saab, on the last day when I was going, you know, sort of, you know, and I said, I'm going to Lucknow, you know, and I'll be visiting there and all that. And he said, in Urdu, Sallu bhai se mil lena. Go and meet Sallu bhai, you know. And I said, who's Sallu bhai now, you know? You've never told me anything about him. No, he knows everything about my childhood. I said, oh gosh, I have really wanted to know about your childhood, and now you're telling me, you know, after all this. So this was one of the reasons we used to have, we had a lot of tit-a-tats with Shoaib Saab about this, you know. But I have actually suffered days and nights, you know, trying to see how to put all these material together, you know. And as Hussain Bhai has already told you what happened to us, really. It was a big, actually, big tragedy. And all cheers to my son, actually, who sat night and day to actually clean it up as I was pushing them all together and putting them all together. Daniel is there actually trying to take my picture, So it's been such a long journey, and there are so many lessons learned, really. But the most important one that I learned was listen to people, really. And I also wondered, that God gave us two eyes, really, but only one mouth. Can you imagine if He gave us two mouths, what would happen, really? So I cannot describe in words, how I felt and how emotional I had been at times, doing things, really. And even when I had finished the film, there were comments from people, and I knew that family would have comments, really, because it's a remembrance and going back to a lot of things, people, But those moments that were shared by people in Lahore, you had to see, because they were really telling something about the man, of who he is, really. Not just a man or a father or anything, but so many different things, so many different personalities, To bring them up was a big challenge, sir. So, two big ones. Not a man who would give compliments so easily, So that's a big one from him, And Shoaib Saab, of course, he's got it in his heart, this thing, Mar rahe, is as you would say, But also, because I miss my other half. Huma is the one who is the real ambulance, one who inspired us to keep going, to bear this, Even this affected our own lives, because I used to be sitting on edits, listening to Shoaib Saab, long speeches, and taking them out. And Huma said, "Chalo bhai, time. It's been enough, chalo, So, there are so many aspects to it, but this is the last time I'm going to do something like this, really. I mean, having said that, we say this all the time, but things never happen, But if there's anything more I can add, I can go on and on, But if do you want to have a question?
I thought what I would do, because I think they may kick us out of here at 8:30. And I
One
wanted
thing-
to make sure.
One thing I'll tell you, people say, how come that you guys have been married for so long and then you work together? How does it work? I said, very simple. I do the work, she orders. It's so simple.
She's not here to defend, so we'll not take that comment.
So no, it is true. It's true. Huma came to me for an internship in England, and she stayed for 2 years and she worked for me. 2 years later, she married me, took me back to Pakistan. Now I work for her. So
You've done
there
great
you
work.
are.
You've done great work.
You've done
I actually wanted to ask the two of you a question, because, both of you now lead RSPNs. You came to know Shoaib Sultan both through AKRSP and others. I know Jamil, our CEO now, from the age of 7, participated in a VO, right, a village organization. And so could you tell us just a little bit about your journeys together with Shoaib Saab and also with AKRSP and the work you're doing now?
Thank you. Well, first, I want to thank you. It's not just a special film, but it's in a very special place. So, to you and also to Hussain, and of course, I want to thank Farooq, because you really set it all in motion. When he first told me that he had spoken, and I actually didn't believe it. And then he said, well, this is actually happening. And then I wrote you an email. And I'm so happy to see so many old AKRSP friends here, so many friends who worked there with us, and we all started together after being at university, mainly here. And Jamil, who heads AKRSP, is sitting here, and of course Dr. Bajwa, who heads NRSP, and Ziauddin Saab, who's not from the RSPs. This is Malala's father. We're very honored to have you here with us today. So my journey with the RSP started, I finished at Cambridge, went back in 1990. I went to Shoaib Saab and I said, I want to work with you. And he said, well, you've lived all over the world. I don't think you can live in Gilgit. There's electricity every 3 days, the flights are unreliable. So he said, and at the same time, my father had got posted to the UK as Pakistan's High Commissioner. And he looked at me and he said, "You mean you want to go to Gilgit instead of London?" And it was my mother who really pushed me and said, you must do this, and it's worthwhile work. So he offered me a 3-week internship, and I ended up staying 4 years.
कैम्ब्रिज से पढ़ के आई थी तो मैंने कहा यहाँ
She had come from Cambridge, having studied at Cambridge, and then he held on to her.
ये इसने कैम्ब्रिज से पढ़ के आई थी
जी जी, मैंने वही बताया. I was translating it for Matt.
अच्छा
वो अभी उर्दू नहीं बोलते हैं अभी तक. We need to send him to Pakistan to learn Urdu. India didn't do a good job.
So I think, what really sort of captured me was when I went in 1985 with family to just as a tourist, and we were staying with Shoaib Saab, and we sat in on a meeting. We were just young students, and I was really amazed at the interaction with people. The fact that everyone sat in a circle, not in rows. The fact that nobody sat above anybody else, which is quite a common thing in our cultures, and the fact that people were openly discussing things and they were developing the program as the discussion went along. And I thought this is empowerment. And so this idea of organization really comes from that. So 4 years was with AKRSP, and there are so many lessons. Before coming here, I thought, I knew you would ask something about the lessons, but one is the very clear messaging that happens. So whether it's a prime minister, whether it's a president, whether it's a community, the message is always clear, and that message is, if you come together, that is what creates the power, and that creates the transparency, and that creates the participation that is needed. And the other is, of course, listening to people. It's very easy for us to say, oh, we think you need this, right? But and this was one of the first things that he said to me, that you have to listen, and then you have to develop it as it goes on. So it's now been 35 years, and the RSP network was set up in 2000. It was set up by the Rural Support Programs as a national coordinating body, and Shoaib Saab chairs it. There are 8 rural support programs as its members. The others were not mentioned, but the NRSP is the largest one. But there's a Sindh Rural Support Program, there's Balochistan, there's one in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. There are other smaller ones also. And it's become a very large canvas. From the 6 districts of AKRSP, it's now 156 districts. And I think, we are very, very fortunate. Nobody can, do what Shoaib Saab has done. And I think many of us sometimes worry that, where are we going to be in the future? Because for each one of us, this is a big challenge. But I think the important thing is for us to be together in this. And this is what he keeps telling us. Don't compete with each other. Don't do this, stay together. So I think that's very important. I just wish there were more women leaders in the RSPs, because sometimes one feels isolated. But I think one of his strengths is that he has really pushed the women's program forward. And I think that is because of Auntie Musarat, because she was, I think you learned a lot from her, and his feisty daughters who are sitting here. So we have, over 500,000 community organizations, and 56% of those are women's organizations. In a country like Pakistan, that is quite an achievement. The ambassador is not here, but the government has been of huge support. Once the government saw what AKRSP did and what the communities could do themselves, it gave money to set up 5 rural support programs, and NRSP was one of them. But of course, they are independent entities registered as non-profits. So we basically coordinate at the network level. It's a very diverse canvas. Pakistan is diverse, and the RSPs are as diverse as Pakistanis. But I think what we've learnt is, create it as you go along. And of course, there are many challenges. So it is an ocean out there. But it's been a very fulfilling and very exciting journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Bajwa sir, your views?
So, as Shoaib Sahab always says, that his life is a journey of coincidences. It's the same perhaps with me. My exposure to the AKRSP was when we were young trainees, civil servants. So we went to Gilgit and saw his program. And as luck was headed, 3 years later, I was posted there. So I would see the program so I was the spectator and he was the player. And I would always wonder that whatever AKRSP is doing, what is it that if it is expanded nationally? So to cut the long story short, I was being posted out after 3.5 illustrious years in northern areas that I went to him, thanked him for his support while we were struggling in the government, and he showed me this summary from the Prime Minister to open up a replication of AKRSP for the rest of the country, the NRSP. And he said, why don't you join me? I said, sir, I'm going to my home province. And he said that, this program, you know it because you have seen it. And he tested me once I said yes. He took me to one of the most difficult projects he had, Hanuchal Channel. And he would cross it. Now this is about like 3,000 feet above, and you can see a string of line of water, which is the river Indus. And we would crawl on it. And so I was successul in, taking up the challenge. So that is the test. That was the test. I think if he goes back, he can still do it again, mashallah. And later on, when we went and we started the national program, then there were many learnings. And one of the things which he taught me was that as an individual, you are in a glass house. You can't see outside, and everybody can see you. So your transparency has to be there. And another pearls of wisdom was, they said that it's not enough to be honest. People should vouch for your honesty. And so these were the two key areas. And the third was that he would always say that, people are like, some are, competent and honest. And there are people who are incompetent and dishonest. And then the combination which Akhtar Hamid Khan would tell him, and then he taught us, that you have to be honest and competent, and the rest, obviously, the three combinations can't work together. So if you look at these three principles which he has stated, and then being into a phase which is a single phase of one line, which is that you have to rely to the people with whom you work and nothing else. And the success of the program is the finding of the right leadership at the local community level, which is selfless and which can, and he says that you can move mountains as a result of that. And we have seen that happening in front of us. Particularly women, for example. The leadership in South Asia, women leadership, is of much higher quality than that of men. I'm sorry to say that, but this is the fact. And to me, I think the kind of rural development and poverty alleviation which we are in the future also, it's going to be the women who are going to lead this. We are doing a project with Google for internet literacy. And what I see, young women leaders who are coming up, self-learned and becoming entrepreneurs, is mind-boggling in South Asia, particularly in Pakistan. So these are the lessons. And to me, I think the future is when we now look at technology and link it with the local women leaders. I think the opportunities when we started 34 years, today the opportunities are 10 times more because of the connectivity and of this whole new age of internet and of digitalization. And if you're able to grasp this and take the next generation of the rural support programs, I can tell you that these programs can continue for the next 50 years. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much to give us this, have given this opportunity to us.
I just wanted to ask you, so are you going to fund the part 2 of this film? He said, we've got this now on camera.
As we did in the first part, I most certainly, sir.
Great. A quick one. We are running out of time, so what I'll do is, we had loads of questions for all of you, but I think we'll cut down, and we want to give all of you an opportunity to interact with Shoaib Saab and everybody here. So what we'll do is we'll quickly, I guess I have my microphone and which is working, I've been told. So thank you. We'll not continue for too long. We have some food waiting outside there, and I have the events team staring at me saying, you know the rules. Food can't stay out for too long. So get everybody out so that they can enjoy the food as well. They've worked very hard for that. So we will not take too long. Let's continue. So I had a few questions, but I'll kind of quickly ask you a question and request a brief response. We have an insider's...
As brief as the two.
Well, if you can make it briefer.
Okay.
So we have an insider's information, and we have been told that it's not easy to work with the man who is an kind of manifestation of perfection, Shoaib Sahab. He's very particular. He has his principles and value system that drives all his conversations. And you have met this biopic over 4 years. You've said that you've shadowed him for 20 years. List, like 4 or 5 challenges that you faced while working with Shoaib Sahab and on this movie.
I didn't face any challenges actually because I'm just like him.
Oh gosh.
In those principles, But I would like to say one thing actually, which is very quickly, one of the reasons, when we left England and we went to Pakistan was Huma's vision actually of getting women to tell their own stories, and to bring out as many women, into the media aspects, really. And I have 2 of our prodigies here, who we are very proud of, and I want them to stand and they know who they are. Nadia, please stand up. Mariam, please stand up. Nadia is now a director at Amnesty, and Mariam is the face of Euronews and TRT and whatnot, really. We are so proud of them, really.
So thank you very much for that. So no challenges at all?
No, not really. I mean, the challenges that I was facing, I was facing myself at home, really, So
okay, so let's kind of quickly move on. When the name of Malala was mentioned and Malala's father was mentioned, there were some eyebrows saying, that Malala? Yeah, there is only one Malala. The Nobel laureate Malala, his father is here. Thank you very much for being here. And we were, in fact, expecting Malala to join as well, but she's busy with some book signing engagement, so she could not come here. But thank you very much for coming here and honoring us. Sure. So I think let's kind of wind up. We are running up. I don't want to kind of be on the wrong side of...
Just one thing, really, because I had my big list of thank yous, but I always get beaten because everybody else thanks, really, so I have got nobody to thank after
so
that.
Certainly, so you...
all those people who have been thanked, especially yourself, Sandana, Dr. Saab, and Matt, who's been there, of course, Shoaib Saab ko to bahut hi shukriya kar sake idhar saal se. So thank you very much for this thing.
Thank you.
Without you, this would not have happened.
Thank you. Thank you very much. May I request Matt? Come on. Yeah, okay. Are you sure? or you have a last word that you want to say?
Are people leaving after I speak?
Yes.
So it's really the last word. All right, well, in that case, I didn't want to belabor things. So the last word is thank you, actually. I think one of the things that I took away from the film is that I heard Shoaib Saab say he talked so many times about being given a gift. He thinks about the world in terms of the gifts that have been given to him and challenges as gifts. And I think all of us can reflect on that as we leave tonight and the gift that he has given all of us here, that he's given the world, but most importantly, he's given the people in the communities that we're all serving. And so thank you again so very, very much.
So, Chandana, you had prepared something to share with the audience. Do you want
I don't think you have the time.
but you've shared most of what we had discussed in your...
Yes,
Yes.
I think Ziauddin
So,
Saab-
Ziauddin Saab, you want to come forward and use the microphone. You can turn to the audience and...
Thank you so much. Just watching the film, Iqbal's famous words comes to my mind. हजारों साल नरगिस अपनी बेनूरी पे रोती है, हजारों साल नरगिस अपने बेनूरी पे रोती है, बड़ी मुश्किल से होता है चमन में दीदार पैदा. Honestly, thank you, Farooq Saab, and to Huma Beg. Watching this film, I felt that it's very human film. Like this strong man with all his resilience, we see his weak moments when he separates from his loved ones. So a human story, and then like watching the whole film, what comes to my mind, that the man, we are very lucky to be here in this room, honestly, with someone who is a living legend.
Yes.
And he is larger than life and taller than mountains. And one last thing that I want to say, because it will become a long speech, that we always talk about change. Change. Political parties, NGOs, individuals. But I must say that the philosophy of change that has been introduced by Shoaib Sultan Khan Saab, and the principles and the integrity, I must say that any change maker, genuine change maker who want to bring a change in their communities, they must study Shoaib Sultan Khan's life. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. No? Yeah. You want to?
Thank you. I know we're short on time. I think, one of the things we have learned from Shoaib Saab is how he was able to take this approach to so many countries in the region. And a lot of it, of course, was, there was the support of AKF. You took it to Tajikistan and other places. But under the UNDP South Asia program, he worked in five countries. And it is quite amazing how we used to move to those countries where the learning then happened in reverse. We used to learn things. We used to come back. We used to pilot them. And something like these revolving loan funds, which you saw, is something we learned from Andhra Pradesh. And we picked up their manuals, we got trained by them, we come back to Pakistan, we replicated with DFID funds. The government and the donors have picked it up in a big way right now. So it's a sort of £90 million program managed mostly by women, small village banks. When I had the opportunity to work with you in Afghanistan, that's exactly what we replicated. I brought in someone from RSPN and I said, come on now, let's do this here. I hear some of those groups are still doing it, but Afghanistan is a big challenge because I think women staff can't go and they can't teach women how to read and write. But you guys are still there and it's still
And
happening.
those groups are still working.
And those groups are so I think, I often think that, AKF should put this together, how this has gone everywhere and it all started with you,
Well,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Shoaib Saab?
आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे?
आप कहें सर, they want to listen to you, sir.
नहीं
Because we are winding up now in case if you want to say something or.
Take them go.
So may I request now Shoaib Saab to say a few words?
He said it in the beginning.
मैं तो सिर्फ इसलिए यही कहूँगा कि आई वॉज वेरी फॉर्चुनेट कि मेरे साथ जो लोग काम कर रहे थे करते हैं तो दे आर सो गुड कि मुझे कुछ करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं पड़ती।
That's big.
असल में तो ये है कि दे आर द वंस, चाहे वो राशिद बैठे हुए हैं यहाँ या चंदाना है यहाँ और जो भी लोग हैं जितने भी हैं, तो इनफैक्ट दैट वे आई हैव बीन वेरी लकी बिकॉज बेसिकली क्योंकि आदमी अकेला तो कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन ये कि ऐसे लोगों का ग्रुप मिल जाए तो फिर देन बेसिकली यू हैव टू डू वेरी लिटिल बिकॉज दे डू एवरीथिंग दैट यू वुड लाइक टू डू. That is really, that has been my luck really, that's what I would say.
So translate to Shandana, please, very quickly.
So what Shoaib Saab is saying is that I have been very lucky because I have people working with me who do all the work and I have to do very little. That's not entirely true. But this is basically the message that he's giving.
Great. Thank you very much, everybody. And Matt has already thanked everyone. I have a couple of people to thank. What I'll do is while we are settling down or we are finishing, I'll go on the microphone and say, mention a few people that I must thank. To start with the AKF team, Ellen and her team, and Salma Habib and the IIS team, and the events team, Mafe, Chila, and everybody else who has worked very, very hard for this. And comms team for organizing the video recording and everybody, like all this photography and various other things. So thank you, everybody. I'll not take too long going through my list, but everyone who is present here, the event wouldn't have been possible without your presence. So my deepest gratitude, and all those who have traveled all the way from Pakistan to attend this event, and people have traveled from around the country here. I met somebody who has traveled from Glasgow, and I met many people who have traveled from all sorts of places, Birmingham. And of course, we have the Minister for Press from the Pakistan High Commission. Thank you very much for being here. I just noticed your presence here. Thank you very much. And of course, we have the ex-High Commissioner, and I understand you have been the High Commissioner of some country as well. So we have the couple who have been the High Commissioner. So His Excellencies, thank you very much for being here. And thank you very much. Have a safe journey back home. Good night. Shabba khair.